Hello and welcome to the Hurry Up from the SportsHeads. It's the last one of the season, unfortunately. But you know what? We're going to celebrate all that was this season and we're going to enjoy ourselves and have a great time. I'm joined with my buddy, my pal, Sam Morgan. How are you? Or AKA Pinky Blinders today. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. New look, new day. Why not?
Honestly, he's taken Shoreditch all the way to his house every day. There's a different look each week, and I always look forward to seeing what I'm gonna, what's gonna happen each week. So
I can't get through my wardrobe. Well, it's like exciting like daily ventures to the back of my garden or to Sainsbury's. So
why is he wearing a suit walking around with the dog? Like, what's going on?
Yeah,
my buddy, my pal, my amigo, my bestie, Hannah Wilkes. I'm saying this for the last time this season. How are you?
I know. I'm good. I'm feeling Sam's pain. I actually considered going to the supermarket in heels yesterday just to mix it up a bit. Because I just live in slippers and trainers. And I was like, I just feel like not looking like a slug.
It's honestly, it is. I think a lot of people have kind of hit some type of wall over the last few weeks, and we're gonna have to find something new to do because there's no more NFL season, unfortunately, because the Super Bowl's come and gone. I'm just gonna get your guys' take on that really quickly. Hannah, I'll start with you because you got your prediction right. So how did you find the Super Bowl, and what's your overall take on the whole thing?
I mean, it was not the Super Bowl any of us expected, was it? It was so one-sided. The Buccaneers were so dominant defensively and just shut down that Chiefs offense. They struggle without their two starting tackles, and the fact that they'd not even just lost their two starting tackles, they'd had to then shuffle the pack, so there were guys playing out of position, and the Buccaneers just made the most of it. It was a weird one, wasn't it? Because the sort of first half, you're like, okay, this is really one-sided. This is a surprise. And I don't know about you guys, but after halftime, when I had a little dance party to the weekend to try and keep myself awake, I was like, right.
I saw your stories. It was brilliant. Your stories was absolutely
I had to
amazing.
do some fourth quarter yoga as well because I was really struggling and I'd seized up just from sitting in the same spot. So I did a bit of flow yoga to keep me going. But in the third quarter, I was like, well, it's now or never. And when, the Chiefs were down massively, weren't they, at halftime, you think Patrick Mahomes has come back from this before. So this is going to be when it counts. And when they couldn't do anything in that third quarter, then it was just a waiting game, really, to wind it down. It was I think Todd Bowles, the MVP, defensive masterclass, which people always then call it a really boring game. But I always quite like watching those kind of games. I find them interesting. And I can tell you what I've been loving since is Tom Brady in Tampa is way more fun than Tom Brady in Boston. Seeing him having to be held up as he comes off a boat and throwing the Vince Lombardi trophy over water to another boat was not content I ever expected to see, and I've been enjoying it.
I'm looking forward to getting that drunk when we're able to walk around.
I want to be held up.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel as right. Sorry, I'm trying to get something out of my hair. It doesn't feel as right getting drunk in your house on your it just feels a bit weird and wrong.
I've stopped drinking for that reason. It's not fun in the house. So
it becomes a bit weird, when you're woken up by the postman. So Sam, how did you find it?
I was disappointed, in all honesty, not just because of it didn't live up to obviously the hype that we were, everyone built up. It was just a shame that obviously they had the injuries, because it wasn't just the linemen themselves that were injured. Mahomes was running without a toe, and you could see he was limping from the very first snap. And I will say this though, how good is he though? Even with that injury, he was dodging, diving, still getting throws off. And there's obviously game clips where they had the Buck guys, like people like Mike Evans, obviously mic'd up, and they're just still sitting there going, how is this guy performing? How did he do that? So no matter how good that Bucks defense was, there was times that they should have still just stopped him. He still wiggled away, which was insane. I got to say, I'm also very disappointed with the officiating.
That's such a boring narrative.
No, you say it's boring, but I'm just saying in general, there's a time when it comes to big events, no matter what game it is, whether it's the NFL, football, tennis, whatever it is, you have to let the players play that little bit extra, that little bit more. You got so many emotions running around with it as well. And actually, if you look back throughout the season, if those officials did officiate the Chiefs throughout the season, the Chiefs may not have won half their games because they do play in that sort of aggressive way on the defense. That really, what they were calling sort of pass interference and holding and things like that, I was just like, come on, let it play. Give the sort of fans and everyone the game that we expect. And I think obviously, I know the one call that was obviously being sort of highlighted, that one that was not even catchable, that was then given on the Honey Badger, which then started the next confrontation. For me, I don't think if some officials would have even given that. But
one thing I would say on that, because that has been a huge talking point. You actually look at it though. The Chiefs, since 2018, when Patrick Mahomes became their starter, they are the second most penalised team in the league, second only to the Jaguars. What usually masks it is the fact that Patrick Mahomes can create some magic, so it doesn't matter. So, yes, they were penalised and they gave up over 90 yards. That's the whole field. If you're giving up 95 yards, I think it was, on penalties, that is 5 yards short of the length of the field, and that's how much they gave up due to penalties. I think as well, though, I think for me what was most frustrating about it, because don't forget as well, for the referees, this is the most watched game of their careers. And there's so many controversies when things aren't called. I think what was frustrating a little bit is that the Chiefs didn't adjust how they played at halftime in any sport, no matter what level you're at. If you're playing a game and the referees keep calling you for something, or they're really hot on something, you have to adapt accordingly, because they're going to keep calling it. That's how they're playing that game, and it's part of the athlete's job, I think, to adapt, which they just didn't make any halftime adjustments, I don't think.
I mean, you know what? I was thinking about this when I was watching the game. There's a lot of times that the Chiefs do these things that are, technical fouls and all these other things, unsportsmanlike behaviors with the flip and all that stuff. And I think what's happened to me is that all of that stuff came back to haunt them in the Super Bowl. So Tyreek flipping over, and then obviously he got his comeuppance when it comes to those things. I just think they need to channel that stuff. They need to pull that stuff back in, because in the day is that that is the game where everyone is watching the referees. And if you ever want to A, work in the league again, B, referee in the Super Bowl again, then you're gonna actually have to officiate properly, not like the season.
Can I just correct myself? They actually gave up 120 yards due to penalties, which is more than the length of the field. That's a field and a fifth. So it's going to cost.
It's been coming. It's been coming. It's a shame. I mean, to be honest with you, like the defense for Tampa Bay, absolutely amazing. We got to meet one of the main guys, didn't we?
Yeah. No, it was quite good to obviously see him do well, and obviously, the Sack Bartlett, as they're now calling him. So it was pretty good to see that. And do you know what? He's actually, as Andre just said, he's actually a pretty humble guy. And he came for our jobs last time, so he could probably make it in the media afterwards. But as I say, it's taking nothing away from the Bucs, because not just the defense. I've got to say, another guy that we've obviously had the pleasure to speak to was Leonard Fournette. The guy was still that was the Fournette that we've come to know, really, the one that got that move. So it was good to see him in amongst it as well.
I think it's no coincidence that after meeting us, then those two actually won the Super Bowl. So you're welcome, Tampa Bay fans.
I'm waiting for the ring. I feel like we could get an assist to get a ring in the post.
We was expecting to be on that boat celebration as well. There's no invite, nothing. Hey, come on.
Shocking.
So let's go into a little bit of the news before we go and review some of the things of the season. Just obviously it looks like this Carson Wentz trade or out is becoming a bit more difficult to happen than I think Philadelphia would like. I'll start off with Sam. Have they got themselves in a pickle where they really can't actually get high level trade picks for him? Like what do you see the situation? How do you see it unfolding?
You've got a quarterback that's susceptible to injury. He is, and since the big injuries, hasn't proven himself again on the recovery for me to the levels that they would expect. There's that side of it. You then got Matt Stafford trade that's just gone through. So people are looking at this we should be getting that for our starting QB and to get the right collateral. But again, there's just these other underlining situations with Carson Wentz that actually you're not going to get that. So I think you got two different parties in completely different places, not even close right now. So I think the Eagles have really got a, almost for me, knowing that I've got Jalen Hurts in the background, maybe just lower your expectations a little bit to get him off your books. But I don't think they want to do that. And that's the issue. And right now, who's really going to take the gamble? You know, we were looking at teams, we were talking about people like Washington right now, but why would you bring in Carson Wentz to go with Alex Smith? You got literally two people with injuries that are like the highest level. You're not going to do that. The Panthers, why would they bring Wentz in with a question mark when Teddy Bridgewater is an established QB that's probably going to put up the same numbers as him? You know, everyone that needs a QB right now isn't going to take the risk on that sort of contract unless the deal is too good to be true. But right now, the Eagles aren't even putting out a little bit of fairy dust just to try and attract people. So I think they've got themselves in a pickle. I think they're going to have to take it on the chin. And the other thing as well is Carson Wentz going to move to be number 2?
Well, I mean,
the other thing.
One of the things that has come out in the news is that the Colts have offered at least two second round picks for Wentz. But I think that would be a good place for him to go. Hannah, what do you think?
I think, and this I feel has been a big topic of conversation since the Stafford Goff trade, mostly in relation to Deshaun Watson and sort of what that means other quarterbacks are worth. I think where everyone has got a little bit off center with it is that trade wasn't purely about what Stafford was worth to the Rams. It was the cost of offloading Jared Goff and his ginormous contract. So yeah, it's all well and good to say, well, you got these picks and these picks and these picks. It's like there were other things at play there. It wasn't just we're taking your QB. It's that we're giving you one that is going to cost you this much, and we massively overpaid for, and to get him off our books, that's what it costs. So I think there's a danger there that you can't sort of inflate the QB market because of that particular trade, because there was so much more beyond just the players. I think for Carson Wentz, I agree with Sam. He's been hurt a lot, and for the Eagles, I think now that Doug Peterson's gone as well, I don't know whether he wants to go as much. I literally don't know. I don't know. You've got a new head coach in there. It's different. You've got Jalen Hurts there, who's there or thereabouts, but probably not quite there yet, the way we saw him play back end of last year. Sounds like the Colts and the Bears are interested. The Colts need a QB. The Bears probably need a QB. But I think we're for a really interesting sort of merry-go-round of quarterback trades. There's talk, people are asking about Russell Wilson from the Seahawks or the rest of it. But Carson Wentz, for me, I think the Eagles, if they want to get rid of him, probably need to lower their expectations a little bit. Like you said, Sam, I completely agree with you.
Let's move on to the Seahawks. Obviously, there's a growing situation with Russell Wilson. Obviously teams are calling to see if there's opportunities for a trade. He hasn't actually asked for a trade, but they say the situation remains fluid. Now, let me tell you something. New York Giants, give up everything that we have to get this man if there's a possibility at all.
He's not going.
I know he's not, but
You're in dreamland.
You know what, Hannah? We got a whole summer, so we got a dream.
This is the thing.
All right, because you've got your quarterback. There's us. There's for the rest of us paupers. We have to have something to dream about for the whole summer.
This is the thing with the Russell Wilson situation. It's done exactly what Russell Wilson wanted it to do. Russell Wilson, and Neil Reynolds has been talking about this week on Inside the Huddle on Sky. He's interviewed Russell Wilson, and to quote Neil, it was a vanilla interview. He didn't give much away. It was very rehearsed. It's very media trained. Talks in sound bites. So the fact that Russell Wilson's given an interview where he has criticised sort of how much he's been sacked and that he needs better protection, it's all just a game of chess. He doesn't want to go anywhere. He doesn't need to go anywhere, but he needs better protection. And by kicking up a stink, that's what he will get from the organization. There is no way in hell will freeze over before Russell Wilson leaves the Seahawks in the next 12 months. I'm saying.
Well, I'm going to be completely irrational and campaign for Russell Wilson to come to the Giants. Please make sure. I know Dan will be actually spitting blood at the moment because he doesn't want his to lose his prize asset. But Sam, are you going to be campaigning for him to move so he gets out of your conference so you can actually make the playoffs?
I mean, it'd be nice for him to move on, yeah, just to take away another talented QB. It's not going to happen. Like, why would you leave the Seahawks? I don't understand. Like, the only place Russell Wilson is going is somewhere that can almost not say guarantee him a Super Bowl because it's never ever going to happen to guarantee it. But right now, and at his stage of his career, why would he? Right now, like with the team he's got, it's not like we're not in a Tom Brady situation where Tom Brady probably saw the writing on the wall at the Patriots and felt actually this is probably the ideal time to get out and actually look at an organization that is building something. Right now at the Seahawks, they've got a talented roster still, and I feel like they're gonna add again to it and add that quality. And let's be honest, if I can throw to DK Metcalf every week, literally just throw it up in the air.
Or Tyler Lockett.
Tyler Lockett,
DK Metcalf, that's a quarterback's dream, that pair.
The offensive line still protects him enough and he's got the ability that he can carry on for a few more years as well, unscathed. Touch wood, it stays like that because no one wants to see anyone get injured. But I just don't see. I think it's almost a situation that we roll back to in other sports like football or English football, is that there's always they always put that out there as well, just to sort of detract you from something else, distract you from something else that they're going to be doing. So I would actually keep an eye on what might actually happen at the Seahawks that isn't Russell Wilson orientated. So I would look at it like that. I think there's something else brewing.
It's a smoke screen or just a screen.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what? I'm one of these people that, especially in the English Premier League, are combed every day to transfer gossip and rumors, and I will be doing the same thing with the NFL because I think personally that I remember us having these conversations when Tom Brady was umming and ahhing, and then I remember a few of us at the time was just like, he's not going to move from there because he's so synonymous with that team. Same thing with Russell Wilson. But you never know. You never know. I'm not saying he's going to come to the Giants. Clearly, that's the pipe in the sky. But I wouldn't count against it because at the end of the day, you seeing Tom Brady win yet another Super Bowl. He's won one already. He should have had two. I think that there could be something in this. But I mean, who's got something that is an interesting product for him to be able to go to? He's got a no trade clause, I believe. Without his permission. So it'd be quite interesting to see what happens. But Hannah, I'm going to continue to dream anyway, regardless. Anyway,
fair enough.
We got to have something to do. Right. I'm just back on the Super Bowl. Obviously, there was this little to and fro with Honey Badger and Tom Brady. I mean, people are acting like this is the first time they've ever seen Tom Brady chirp at anyone. Which is weird to me because he does it quite a lot. But this one seems to be quite different because he seems to run after Tyrann Mathieu to be able to say something to him. He just whatever was said was something that was really got his goat. Hannah, obviously the NFL Network now are saying that they're not going to release the audio. They have it, but what kind of thing could have been said?
Probably something that's very rude if they're not releasing it. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I can't speculate, but I can only imagine they're not releasing it. It's because the language is not acceptable for broadcast. Which that's sport. You think in most of the sports we consume over here, we never hear what is said between players, and that's probably a good thing because when you're in the midst of competition like that, it is getting fiery, and that was the peak of the game when Honey Badger was getting blown up constantly and tensions were running high. So yeah, they have it, but that doesn't mean they have an obligation to release it. That's the right of the NFL as the people that own the footage. And I mean, I guess the sort of instant thing is people are like, they're protecting Tom Brady, blah 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 blah. No, it purely could just be that offensive because you just don't know what's been said in those situations when things are running high. And does it matter? We can all guess. People can lip read, make their own mind up. This is minor. I think it's like mountain and molehill thing. It was fun to watch, though.
I know. Sam, what do you think?
I don't think there's anything protecting Tom Brady. Reason being is Tyrann Mathieu would not be quiet. You cannot shut that guy up. I like the Honey Badger anyway. I loved him when he was obviously with us at the Cardinals, and he won't be silenced by anyone. So I think if it was that bad that it would affect and offend other people other than Tyrone Matthew, he would have said something by now.
Yeah, it's just the choice of language that probably is not appropriate.
I think it's the language, and to be honest, I think they both gave it to each other as much as each other, like basically the same level. So, it would only get them both into trouble. So I think that yes, they probably offended each other. Things were said in the heat of the moment that you're probably like, actually, that was probably a little bit too far, and that's why I think this will be the last we probably hear of this.
And they've exchanged, it's been in the media that they exchanged text messages after, and sort of Tom Brady apologised to Tyrann Matthew. They had a conversation about it. They cleared the air. They drew a line under it. It happened between them. So move on.
Clearly, I'm scraping the barrel for news as we get to the
Super Bowl. Having to go in that barrel. There's so much other stuff.
There's not too much, Hannah. I'm telling you, there's unfortunately, it's not the most interesting stuff that we got at the moment. But
Dre and Hannah, how's everyone's head after following the weekend's video? By the way, because I got a bit of a headache, spinning around, looking at all these directions.
So I kind of had to look away. I'm someone that does occasionally get a migraine. I felt like I might get triggered. I was like, whoa.
I really enjoyed it.
I love the whole halftime performance. I thought people are so harsh, aren't they? So many people.
They always say everything's rubbish.
Yeah, but you know what? It's 12 minutes. He put on a show. It was entertaining. I found it energizing. Load of dancers, a load of pop. It was fun. It's what a halftime show is going to be. Yes, it's not like Beyonce or Gaga or Shakira and Jenna, but we live in a very different world to what we lived in a year ago, and it did the job, did it well. And he's got so many bangers that I think you forget until you hear them. That you're like, oh yeah, that's him too. So I really
he's got a quite big catalogue. Just really quickly, just before we move on, best halftime show that you've seen so far. I'll start with Hannah.
Gaga, but I just
Gaga.
Yeah, I love Lady Gaga.
Last year? Was it like?
It was 2 years ago.
I thought 3 years ago, right?
It was a fair few years ago, but I just her or Beyonce, because Beyonce killed it too, and Katy Perry because I liked her left shark. Put it this way, I usually enjoy the halftime show. The last one I didn't enjoy, frustratingly, is the only Super Bowl I've been to, which was Super Bowl 53, and it was Maroon 5. And I have to say, hearing "She Will Be Loved" whilst candles float up from the stage and through the arena is not the halftime mood that you really want.
Yeah, that was a bit of a weird one. That was
Sam? Was so weak.
That's how you put me on the spot here, mate.
Yeah, that's why I'm calling audibles here.
Yeah, that was a serious audible that I was definitely not ready for.
I think I personally think that both.
I like it when it's a female artist and she's just owning it. So yeah, Gaga, Beyonce, Katy Perry.
I wasn't a fan of Gaga.
If you go through the archives, it's always
there's only one.
Entertaining.
You got two choices between the two. Sam, while you're waiting to have you got it?
Oh, actually, I tell you what, there are two. There's
two.
Jennifer Lopez one definitely sticks in my mind.
That was great. I bet it does.
For a few reasons.
I respect that one.
That's like the controversy afterwards. But yes, actually, Justin Timberlake, I've got to say, actually did smash it.
With Janet Jackson?
Yeah. No, not that one.
I wonder why that one sticks in the memory.
No, not for Janet.
Well, the one on his own?
JT performing in general, for me, I think good. As an all-round halftime show, was good. But no, not for that reason. Janet Jackson reason, no. That was... I think I've got in order, I've got, for me personally, the best Super Bowl is always in Miami. So it's got to be Prince, halftime show, Purple Rain, when it's actually started to rain in the old Dolphin Stadium. Then you got Beyonce, very, very close on that, because that was like just a great performance, let alone Super Bowl performance, just one of the best I've ever seen. And obviously, you've got to go with Michael Jackson as well. That's definitely one of them as well.
Also, I'm looking back at them now because I've only been watching Super Bowl. I think this was my 10th Super Bowl, so I don't have that much to go back on. I'm literally flicking through now.
Yeah.
I think the first one I ever watched, I think, was Madonna, but I don't even remember it.
Yeah, that was some of them are I remember some of the worst was The Who for me. That was just like absolutely terrible. But there's not too many. I mean, nothing could beat a different sport, but with the national anthem, when oh God, what's her name again from the Black Eyed Peas? Fergie, when she sung the her version of the national anthem, it still makes me cringe to this moment. But this last one, I was really impressed with all the performances, all the national anthems. It's very, very good. Right, let's get on to your moment, your favorite moment of the season. So tell me what your most memorable moment of the season is. I'm calling audibles on this one with these guys. I'm keeping them on their toes. I'll start off with you, Sam, because you look quite confident that you know. What's yours?
What, my favorite moment?
Yeah, what's the standout moment for you?
Such a big question.
Yeah, you got to narrow it down. You see, keeping you on your toes. All right, I'll give you two.
I'll tell you what. No. Okay, there's the two that stand out to me. I think is that's still that connection between Brady and Gronk. Like that bromance when he threw the touchdown, you could see the genuine. Brady doesn't celebrate touchdowns as much as you probably want him to in that way, but when he threw it to Gronk, there was general joy. Like that was his own.
Two tutties.
Yeah. It's spot on. I think the other thing that I actually really did appreciate was that sort of Mahomes still just sort of soldiering on. He, as I said, that injury really does play havoc, and I don't think people realize how bad turf toe actually is. So for him to carry on doing what he did, and honestly, that throw where he was literally on the side and literally about to throw on the ground, and he still sort of sidewinders it, I had to take a deep breath because I was like, did that just
greatest incompletion of all time?
Well,
the wide one of the greatest ever passes, to be fair.
The wide receivers were on the Tampa Bay side were like, well, how is he doing this? Like Mike Evans was like, my God, like this guy is ridiculous.
So that was a moment for me just to be like, you know what, this guy is definitely special. And I'm not saying I hope that he bounces back enough to go, right, this is how far we came and how well, not say how well we did, but we still held in there for enough with injuries all over the place that they know they can bounce back. And, I wouldn't write them off next year.
Hannah, what have you got?
Is it for the Super Bowl or the whole season?
It could be for the whole season, whatever. Just
because for the Super Bowl, the Super Bowl, I'm the same as Sam. With the first Brady to Gronk touchdown pass, I was like, it's Gronk! And then when it happened again, I was like, what year is this? It was amazing. So that was the highlight of the Super Bowl for me. Of the season is really hard because we've had one of those seasons where I think there's been a ton of records broken in terms of touchdowns and scoring, and it's been really entertaining. The thing that instantly comes to mind, though, is Alex Smith's comeback, because it's just the most incredible story and the most incredible achievement. And you think, in a year where we didn't know if the season was going to get played, and it did, and that in itself was like the moment for me. Like, it all happened, and it all happened on time. But no training camps, no preseason games, all this testing, this strange year, and then throw into the mix this guy that 2 years ago broke his leg, had 17 surgeries, almost died, and he got his team winning their division and back in the playoffs. So for me, that moment of him playing that first snap for Washington and Aaron Donald jumping on his back, it was just a wonderful moment, and I think I think mostly because it was not just to do with sport. It just spoke to his resilience. You saw those shots of his family, and even though like they were all masked up, you could tell his wife was overcome with emotion. And it's just the most incredible story of resilience and determination and sheer grit. And I can't believe, so he got comeback player of the year at the NFL Honors. Obviously, from that moment, it was
done. It
was not unanimous. Out of 50 votes, one person voted for Ben Roethlisberger. I would like to know who that one person is. Because any other year, probably, Big Ben. He had a bad injury last year and he came back. But the guy almost died.
Wait, if we're talking about the whole season, yes, that is. I'm not really the most sentimental guy, so I'm not even going to go with Alex Smith. But let's talk about Derrick Henry's stiff arms this season. That for me have been some serious highlights. Like every week, just talking about them, I literally cannot wait to over and over again. I just don't know how you stop that guy, and that for me is a highlight. Because I'm just like, I look at it and go, I can't wait to see what he has done to someone this week. I expect that from the defense, but from him, someone like that, that's a big highlight for me. Seeing these running backs sort of let's take it to a new level. We keep talking about, sort of how far can it go? How far can the game go? It keeps adapting. And yeah, say these running backs are finding a whole new way just to bulldoze now defenders. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying seeing someone like Derrick Henry in the league.
I'm surprised that none of you two mentioned this, because we went absolutely nuts when this happened. DK Metcalf's chase down of Buda Baker is the moment.
Season.
Like that was, I stood there in open mouth shock that I was like, who's that? Like, no way, it's, oh my God, he caught him. Like, it was absolutely ridiculous, honestly. And the amount of memes that was chasing, obviously they used that in the for the election with Trump and stuff like that as well. It was ridiculous.
No, not a fan.
Sorry, Sam.
Oh yes, I've just realized why Sam was not a fan of that one, and he omitted that on purpose. Honestly, guys, obviously we come to the end, short and sweet one to end the season. Obviously, there's gonna be loads of new things that are gonna be going on, the trades, and obviously the draft as well. We'll see what happens there. So we won't disappear until September, but it's come to the time. I just want to thank the two Matts, Matt Hoare and Matt Connell, for the editing and all the teasers that you guys will get, and just basically putting up with me with the last minute shows that we do, or last minute any editing and all those types of things. I really do appreciate you guys. And Hannah, like, honestly, I'm not going to thank Sam because he's always here.
Oh, thank you, Sam.
Hannah,
great sparring with you.
I'm not thanking him. Thank you, Hannah, for honestly coming on board with us this season, and you've honestly taken us to another level, and you've taken debates and timekeeping to another level too.
The ironic thing is like, I do live TV where timekeeping is everything, but as soon as I'm not in charge, I'm like, timing? What timing?
As soon as you're free, it's just like, right.
Yeah. It's not my problem, it's yours.
And
thank you. It's been fun to think. I just came on for a chat like back in September, and then stuck around.
I was like, we're keeping this one, definitely. That's for sure. Like,
it's been fun.
I need someone to argue with every week. That's. I've seen you take down a few of these guys. I mean, at some point we'll probably put together a few of your takedowns.
I feel like me and Dan have had more arguments than me and Sam. Quite often, Sam, I feel we agree. But occasionally, me and Dan will like really lock horns.
We need to change that we need to change that next season. Yeah, definitely, for sure. Like, honestly.
Well, I mean, if the Cardinals get more competitive, then I'm sure it will change.
Oh, hold on. Oh, here it is.
I love you, really. I'm joking.
There's another clip.
Yeah, back. Queen of Shade.
And I'd like to thank, obviously, Dan's not here as well, for coming on board. And we've had a few people, too many to be able to name. But if you've been on the show, we're really, really grateful for you this season. Me and Sam have been doing this for many years now. We've seen many players, and again, Tampa Bay fans, you are welcome. For us, everyone we interview ends up being in the Super Bowl in some form of way, or makes a big move. If you look at it, it always happens.
Till next year.
Bye, guys.
When are the Cardinals coming? That's what I need to know.
Well, they need. No, they came over before.
Don't
worry, guys. Just to fill us in the in between, and Hannah, I'm going to tag you in this one as well. I'm going to tag you in when your Rams were beating down his Cardinals in. Was it Twickenham we was in, and you could see corporate Sam crying into his prawn sandwiches. It was like it was one of the best things I've ever seen.
I was also there, and do you know what was the coolest thing ever? I got to go on the pitch after the game to do my closing link. It was great day.
This is going to change. We've got to get more privileges. Wherever Hannah is, we've got to be like walking or lurking alongside, even if it's just like us doing this in the background,
carrying a bag,
just something. Anything is fine. We're going to be getting these mainstream privileges that Hannah's been getting for a long time. It's time for us little people to be able to come up now. We'll have some big news for you guys soon, but until then, we've got to wait till September. Peace.